Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our series of tutorial on commerce, and we discuss organization of the business enterprise. Cooking up a new structure. A few years ago, Sara Lee CEO John H. Bryan realized that he had a problem. During the 25 years of his tenure, the firm had grown beyond its foundation in food products to encompass dozens of the lines of business, everything from cake mixes to the insecticides to lingerie. The new businesses were acquisitions, and the original managers controlled each one of them as if it were a separate company. Calculating the cost of all such duplications, Bryan reached the conclusion that company could not afford high costs at a time when price competition was heating up. In an effort to fix things starting in 1997, Bryan sold or eliminated about one quarter of the firm's 200 products. He cut redundant factories and the workforce, reduced the number of products, and standardized company-wide processes. He called his extensive restructuring program the verticalization, and his goal was to remove Sara Lee from manufacturing while strengthening its focus on the effectiveness as a marketeer. In the meantime, however, he continued to acquire rival firms in order to sustain the company's growth. Eventually, despite Bryan's efforts, Sara Lee suffered from high cost and remained unfocused and inefficient. Said one industry analyst about Bryan's strategy, "Sometimes the more chairs you move around, the more dust you see behind the chairs." In 2000, Stephen McMillan took over Bryan at Sara Lee, and in Immortal Worlds of Yogi Berra, it was déjà vu all over again. McMillan quickly realized that Bryan's moves had little impact on the firm's performance, and he himself would need to stop making some big changes. Borrowing a page from rival Kraft Foods, he began by merging the sales forces specialized in the various brands to create smaller, customer-focused teams. In meats alone, for instance, Sara Lee had 10 different brands, including Ball Pork, Hillshire Farms, Bryan, and Jimmy Dean. So if you're a Kroger or a Safeway, explained McMillan, you've got to deal with 10 different organizations and multiple invoices. Teams reduced duplication and were more convenient for buyer, and a win-win situation. National retailers like Walmart responded by increasing their orders for Sara Lee products. McMillan also centralized decision-making at the firm by shutting down 50 weaker regional brands and reorganizing the firm into three broad products categories. Food and beverages intimates the underwear at household products. He abolished several layers of the corporate hierarchy, including many of the middle managers whom the firm had inherited from its acquisitions. He created category managers to oversee related lines of business, and the flattened organizational structures led to the improved accountability and more centralized control over Sara Lee's far-flung operations. McMillan also borrowed some tactics from his predecessor, divesting 15 businesses including Coach Leather Goods and laying off 10% of his workers in other move, and was widely questioned by industry observers. He paid $2.8 billion for bread maker Earth Grains. The move increased Sara Lee's market share in the baked food goods, but many observers that McMillan paid too much for a small potential. It was there for the very small potential return, and it was an opening story of that continues to go far ahead and gives the miraculous performance, the miraculous success that the company had in the years to come.